Today I'm going to show you exactly how to craft video content that converts at every stage of your funnel. No theory, no fluff, just a practical framework you can use immediately. Now, without understanding your message, your structure and your script and how they work together at each stage of the funnel, you're going to be in trouble, because that would be like having all of the right ingredients but following the wrong recipe. Does this sound like you? You're a founder or a chief marketing officer or a marketing leader, a business owner who's investing in video content. Now, this content looks great, it sounds great, but something's not quite right. Your metrics are flat, people's engagement rate is pretty low, and you're starting to wonder if you're just wasting your budget and wasting your time. Now, if we've not met before, I'm Kevin, and I help brands use video to get real business results. Not likes and views, but sales. And after 30 years of directing everything from multiple Formula One BAFTA winning sports coverage to global campaigns for brands like Red Bull, LG and McDonald's, I've learned what exactly works and, of course, what doesn't, and how you waste your money. Before we get stuck into that detail, you should know that I've put together a really clever video framework. It's a free resource that breaks down exactly how successful brands approach content creation. You'll find the link below and it'll help you get even more from what we're about to cover. Do you know what this is? No? Okay, well, yes, great if you do, but if not, let me explain. Now, your client starts here at the top, then moves down through the funnel, through different decision processes until they finally pick up the phone to talk with you or click buy on your website. The three different stages are called top of funnel, or TOFU, middle of funnel, MOFU, and can you guess what the last stage is called? That's right, bottom of funnel, or BOFU. Right, so let's start where most videos fail, and that's unfortunately at the top of funnel, right at the beginning. This is where you're talking to cold audiences who don't even know you yet. And honestly, they don't even know they've got a problem, most likely. And this is where I see the biggest mistakes. People try and sell at the top of funnel. It just doesn't work. Most brands dive straight in with videos talking about features and basically thinly veiled sales pitches. But your audience isn't ready for that. They are most likely really don't even know they've got a problem. So why would you try and sell them a solution to a problem they don't know they've got? Well, let me tell you, you can't. And they just scroll straight away onto some other TikTok or whatever, or dancing cat. So at this stage, your message has to be quite specific. Your message needs to be curious. It needs to be light and informative. Think of it like starting a conversation at a party. You don't open up to a new person straight away with your life story. You open up with something intriguing, gentle, relatable, and that sort of sparks a little connection, something that will start a conversation. So here's what a great top of funnel piece of content could look like. Instead of saying, our video platform saves you time, you ask, have you ever noticed how much time your team wastes on video content that doesn't convert? So do you see the difference? One's pushing the solution, and the others highlighting a problem they might not even realise they have. So now you've got their attention, but here's where most brands completely drop the ball. Now I've created a 30-second assessment that will show you exactly where your current video content might be missing the mark. Links in the description. It will make what comes next much more relevant to you. Let's talk about the middle of funnel, or MOFU. At this stage, your audience most likely has become aware that they've got a problem. So what they're trying to do now is find out where the solution might be. They've probably taken a bit of time to realise that if they don't address this issue soon, it's going to become a big problem. So they're off onto social media and the internet, actively looking for solutions. But they're not really ready to buy, they're just ready to learn. They're ready to weigh up the options and see what they like, and most importantly, who they like. Because this is the first rule of marketing, really, is that people buy from people. And if they don't like you, I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter how good your service or product is, they just aren't going to buy from you. I know it's harsh, but it's true. Now, this is where your message needs to shift from being curious to being helpful. Your structure needs to be completely different from the top of funnel structure, and your script needs to start to build trust and certainly not push for a sale. Now you have to show the benefits of using your service or product. How will it help them personally? Because they're looking for a solution to their problem. They really don't care about the widget that you use or how your state-of-the-art software works. All they care about is one thing. Will this solve my problem, and how quickly? Let me show you what this looks like in practice. So instead of saying, book a demo of our platform today, you might say, here's a 3-step process we use to help a SaaS company double their video engagement in 30 days. You're still selling, but you're selling through value, not pressure. And you're demonstrating that you have the expertise, not just claiming it. But what happens when someone's ready to actually make a decision? And this is where everything changes. This is the bottom of funnel. It's a completely different way of message, structure, and script. So now we're at the action end of the funnel, the bottom of funnel, or BOFU. At the bottom of funnel, you've earned the right to be direct with your customer. Your audience already knows the problem that they have. They understand the solutions they are looking for, and they also hopefully understand what you offer, and they're ready to make a choice. Your message becomes completely different here. It has to be confident and proof-driven. Your structure needs to focus on evidence and results, and your script needs to drive home a clear action. What's the next action you want them to take? Now, I've written an entire book about this called Branding in Motion. It's free and it's in the description. It's also bloody good, and it's only 60 pages, don't worry, it's not a novel. So let's put this all together with an example that brings everything to life. I'm going to take you through an example that works through top, middle and bottom of funnel with a company that's a cybersecurity space company. So let's say we have this client in the cybersecurity space. Great product, solid reputation, but their video content wasn't moving prospects through their funnel. So let me show you exactly how I would rebuild their entire video approach. So here's how their original top of funnel video opened, for example. We're a leading cybersecurity provider offering enterprise grade solutions. Already lost the audience, right? And what's an enterprise solution? This is how I would rewrite this section. Ever noticed how the biggest cyber attacks always seem to happen on a Friday afternoon? Just when your team's thinking about going to the pub or about the weekend. That's when hackers strike. But here's the thing, that's not random. There's a pattern most companies miss, and it's leaving them vulnerable. Let me show you what that is. I opened up with a moment that everyone in the tech world can kind of recognize, talking about hacks in uncomfortable times. But I haven't talked about the features, and certainly no company history and no sale. Just a sort of provocative insight that makes them lean in and think, oh yeah, that's right, they always do seem to happen on a Friday. So you've connected with them, you've created a curiosity in their mind. Getting the attention is one thing, keeping it and building the trust is another. And that's where the middle of funnel process happens. So you've got the curiosity and getting them to think, and now you've got the middle of funnel, which is building the trust. So let's assume that their original middle of funnel content was something like a 5-minute product demo on YouTube, for example. Now, this is important stuff, and I highly recommend those, but maybe it's a little bit too much too soon for middle of funnel. I mean, they've only just realized they've got a problem. Now, instead of doing that or having those kind of scripts, my structure would be this. You've probably got all the standard security measures in place. Yeah, firewall, endpoint protection, regular updates on my computers, of course. But here's what I've learned from analysing over 1,000 cyber attacks. Those tools only catch a certain percentage of threats. Let me show you the 3 blind spots that every security team needs to address. Now, this script works because it acknowledges what they're already doing, and it introduces doubt with a specific piece of data. It also promises a valuable insight, and it positions the brand as an expert, not as a vendor. So not as someone that's trying to sell them something. But here's where it gets really interesting. And when someone's ready to make a decision, the whole structure changes again. Now let's talk about the bottom of funnel now in this example. So we've got top, middle, and now we're at the bottom. They're ready to buy. Now, their original bottom of funnel video might look like a series of customer testimonials perhaps. Now, they're good, they really are good, but maybe they're not that structured for a conversion. So I would rebuild their bottom of funnel like this. Let's say they're called Critical Finance, shall we? When Critical Finance Limited came to us, they were stopping hundreds of threats a day. Impressive, right? But after running our diagnostic that we've got, we found that they were missing another 40 threats. Now let me show you exactly what we discovered and what we did about it, and how they've now had 0 breaches in 18 months since. And more importantly, I'll show you how to run this same diagnostic on your own system in under an hour. That sounds great. I mean, I'm in. That sounds really good. Okay, so let's highlight why that piece of script works. First of all, it opens up with a specific result. Then it challenges an assumption they already have. It provides a clear proof point, offers an immediate piece of value, and it drives a clear next action. So how I broke that down, this top, middle and bottom of funnel, this is just the outline, if you like. So the top of funnel made them curious about the problem that they've just found out they've got. The middle educated them and built trust about the solution you could provide them. And at the bottom, we provide a clear result to move them towards picking up the phone or dropping you an email or clicking buy now on the website. Did you notice that none of those scripts at all tried to do everything at once? Each one had a specific job. Each one had a specific message, and each one took you on the next small step through that funnel. And that's the secret alignment between your funnel stages and your message. They must align and go together through the funnel. This is exactly why I created the V.I.D.E.O framework I mentioned earlier, because it helps you map this kind of strategic approach out before you've ever really written a word of script. Now the link's below if you want to dive into that, and it's a really good resource. I'm not asking you for anything. You understand perhaps a little bit more about the messaging that you use and the structure that you have to develop, and then how you create the script hand in hand with each of those as you work down through the sales funnel. But here's a curveball. Now, for some products and services, this type of funnel is slowly becoming less and less common. But don't worry, you haven't wasted your time watching this video, because it's still true at the moment for most of us. But there is a new kid on the block, and it's called being omnipresent. Omnipresent, what the hell does that mean? Now, omnipresent doesn't mean being everywhere all of the time, because that's totally exhausting and honestly very ineffective. What it means though is being strategically consistent across marketing touchpoints. Now, let me give you an example. So when someone sees you on, say, LinkedIn, and then they see you on YouTube, and then they go to your website, everything feels connected up and familiar, and that's intentional. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in my next video, omnipresence. So click through to that now, and I'll see you there.